This year started.
Oh, really?
Last time he knew my name last year, even though he didn't know my name. But
Yeah.
now he's coming out.
Offensive coordinator Zak Hill is joining us now. If you have a question for Coach, please raise your hand. Use the raise hand function. Thank you for the time, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
First up, Zach.
Coach, just a minute ago, Chase Lucas called beating U of A 4 years in a row a lifetime accomplishment. What does that mean to be part of that?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, obviously, it was my first rodeo here, with this thing. But I can imagine, for a senior and as a, going into this and having 4 years in a row. I mean, that's a big accomplishment for those guys and this program. And I was glad to be a part of that. And now, having one under my belt, I got a little bit better feel. I just can't wait until the fans are in the stands again, honestly, so we can truly feel the vibe of a rivalry game. It's still interesting, going to games, you got nobody in there and you don't feel the energy that a normal rivalry game would have.
Michael?
Yeah, Coach, to kind of go off that too, I mean, beating U of A, when you're calling a game like that, I mean, obviously it starts off with a punt return, a turnover, and you score. But even in calling the game, I mean, have you ever been a part of a game where just everything felt like it was so fluid and right, like all the calls you're making are just flying in and they're working out well?
It's definitely nice. When you got the momentum going and you got some points on the board early and special teams is playing well and the defense is creating turnovers and you're getting good field position. It was just one of those games for us where all three phases came together and the guys took advantage of it. And that's what we needed from a game, putting it all together. And then I thought the guys did a really good job all week of preparing and getting themselves mentally ready for a physical football game. But have I been in those situations before? A couple in my life, but it's, there's a whole lot of less stress, late in the game, which was nice after 2 games of, clutch periods and trying to finish games and all that stuff. It was a different, but we needed it.
Jacob.
Hi, Zach. I'm curious how what Oregon State's pass rush presents as far as the challenges of that, and then how you feel your team has responded to similar types of pressure so far this season.
Yeah, it's a good defense. They're very active, and from top to bottom, they've got a lot of guys that play together, and so they communicate really well. And they fly around, they play hard. They got a really good coaching staff. I know a lot of those guys on that staff, and they're all really good dudes, really good coaches. So I know they're going to communicate well. They'll prepare really well. So we've got to execute. We've got to take care of the football, and their D line is quick and they can create problems and they like to slant, move all over the place. Different fronts. And, there's no they do a good job of not having some main tendencies too. So. It's going to be a battle for us. Our guys are preparing for that game.
Doug.
Zach, when you look back on this season, what will come to mind? What will you remember most about this season?
I think, just being ready and alert for whatever every day, because you don't know what's going to happen, and the schedules. There was no schedules. It was just kind of improvise and move forward positively and try to get as much as you can out of each day and adapt to situations. I think that's the main thing.
Oh.
Zach, I know from a passing game perspective, there's only so much you can really glean from 11 pass attempts, none of them completed. I mean, obviously, just like every aspect of this game, you did what you wanted to do with not a whole lot of resistance, but it seems like the passing game is really taking even more of a step forward when you compare to the USC outing. Even a guy like Johnny Wilson almost looks like a different player this game, and even the UCLA contest. Can you talk about that aspect of the offense and that progression you've seen so far?
Yeah, we've got a lot of young guys, and Johnny going from game 1 to game 2 to game 3 now into game 4 has done a really good job of progressing, and slowing down for them. And I think a lot of those guys in that wide receiver room are getting back into the feel of playing football games, and so playing faster, and you can see some of the speed out there, even if they weren't catching the balls, or as far as like getting targets or whatever. I mean, they're rolling and playing fast. I think Jaden's becoming more and more comfortable with the offense. Obviously, we didn't throw it a whole lot this last game, but I think the guys are getting used to the process and the attention to detail through the week and what it takes for this type of offense. And it's becoming easier and easier with the game planning, I guess, and those guys going out there knowing what to expect and what we want from them.
2 more questions. Jeff.
When you've signing days coming up here, and when you think kind of the big picture, do you feel like you're going to be able to get out of this season what you want to sort of springboard into 2021?
I think we'll take whatever we can out of it, and it'll be. I think we've got a good picture of the players that we've got. Excited about some players that we're hopefully signing and bringing in, and each year's different. And so you're adapting to the personnel and whether you've got experience or not in certain positions, you're always adapting. But yes, we always learn something from these games. Do we play as many as we want to? No. I'd love to play a whole season and get that under our belt and then move into the next one. But, the games that we have played, we've learned from, and we're just continuing to develop and then into this game, and then just moving forward into the off season after that.
Gabe.
Coach, the versatility of being able to run the ball successfully with different running backs and be able to give the defense different looks, how much does the success with Chip and with Rashad just open up the play action passing game and make Jaden more comfortable throwing the ball deep this past week and the weeks to come and next season in comparison to week 1 and where it was against USC?
Well, I thought our run game has been pretty consistent in all games. And so all 3 of them, they've done a really good job. Our O-line's done a good job of being physical, and tight ends being physical in the run game, and backs are running hard. And that always helps. It always helps drives. It always helps converting third downs and making them easier. It always helps the pass game and opening things up when safeties are down at 5 yards trying to get into run fits. So it gives you opportunities downfield. And I think that was, shown a little bit in this last game. We ran the ball effectively and then had some shots that we were able to take and hit those. And like I said, I think we were talking about last week, some games you're in, sometimes you hit those shots and things work and you're putting points up. And then there's some games where you miss a couple and then you get tight. You don't put the points up on that you're hoping to. So it's like give and take. And really every game's different. And there were some critical moments in that game. I mean, we end up converting a 3rd and 10. I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd drive, and then we end up going and scoring. If we didn't, we're punting, and maybe we don't score out of that drive. Or our defense holds them on the 5-yard line as they're about ready to go in and score and create a turnover. And then our first play, we had the ball on the ground, and we ended up getting on it and then scoring on the next play with the big 95 or whatever yard run. But that game could have changed easily. And so each game is very different, and it's about how our guys execute. I thought they did a good job being physical and then execute the game plan.
Last question, Ho.
Speaking of the running game, Zach, I know that Daniel Naka has been maybe the forgotten man just because Rashad and Chip have played so well from the season opener until now. But seeing Daniel play the way he did against U of A, even though the game was out of reach and whatnot, that must have been really pleasing aspect that you finally get some game film on Daniel now.
Yeah, it was great for him and for us to be able to see, but for him to get some carries and start to feel that college speed a little bit, because he's a very good back, and we love having him here, and he works extremely hard. He cares so much about football and about learning and practicing and weight room and all that stuff. And we got a good running back room right now. And so what I say to those guys is that throughout a full season, there's always going to be those, those bumps, the bruises, hey, one guy's out, other guy's in. They got to all be ready to spell each other and go through a full season, which we haven't had yet. And so Daniel, being a young back's got to understand there's a lot of football in front of him here. And just because we've got a few guys that are, technically ahead of, on the depth chart, he's still going to get a lot of production, and we still want to use him a lot. There's different ways to get him to football. And that's what we're going to kind of put together this offseason as well.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Coach.